Hello everyone, Be the Amazing Greek here. Thanks for checking out my channel. Today I'm going to do a project for my neighbor, Mr. Bradley. He purchased a machete / yard tool. What this is a copy, it looks like, of the SP8, I believe, Ontario machete. It's got the wedged front, like the SP8 for opening things. Same basic cutout, but it came with a cord wrapped handle, and he wanted me to put something a little bit better on there. So what I've done is I've went and got some oak slats, and to secure them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill 2 holes in the handle. And I picked up a couple different sizes of these. These are we used these on the machete handle before. It's a post with a flat on it, so you drill a hole to this diameter, slide it in, and then it's threaded in here, and then you have the screw top here from the other side. And then if you put epoxy or something on the inside slats to the metal, then you can secure this. So what I'll do is I'll drill holes that are large enough diameter for the post. I got a couple different ones. One's stainless steel, one's aluminum. I'm not sure which I'm going to use. You'll drill the hole for the post diameter, and then I'm probably going to put take an end mill and drill down a little bit to recess so that the head of the post doesn't stick up. I want it to be into the level with the handle, the wood level right there. I don't want it to stick up. So we'll do that, and I'll show you everything I do as I do it. And probably going to try to put a little bit of some kind of texture for the fingers, give it some grip, feel good. And then of course I'm going to have to fix the edge, because right now it's not much of an edge to it. So that's the project, and let's get started. Alright, what I've done is I went over to the table saw and I cut off a little bit here so that the wood could be to the correct width for the handle. And then what I've done, if you can see, taking a big washer, and I'm going to put a radius here on both the handles, and that part is going to be here. It'll have a radius here at the end of the handle, and I may try to taper it in towards the blade to make it kind of mold into, come in this way. So I'm going to go over to the grinder, and I'm going to shape these out with the sandpaper and get them round like I want, make them match up so that they're the same. Then after that, probably find the length we need here to cut off and how we're going to shape that so that it fits on the handle. they're pretty close. Touch them up. Now we got them together, and I'll put them on, see how we're going to fasten them to the blade. Okay, so where we're at, I've got the handles shaped up, and this is the back. Actually goes like this. When you hold it, round it here, a little bit of radius here, and a cut. Now what I did was I measured the entire length, found the middle, and went out just a number, 1.5 inches or so, just to give me some room to drill for when I put my fastening software. So what I did was, on one of my marks, I set my piece here, found where the drill was going to hit dead center on my mark. I split the length of this in half, and like I said, got a mark. So when I found where it was going to hit right, like I wanted, I grabbed a scrap piece of wood, set it up on my back side, and then I did another one as a positive stop. So what I can do is, instead of trying to get these just right together, which is very difficult to do, put it in, pop my hole, flip it around. It's going to be the same distance from one side to the other. So I didn't even have to mark and measure the other one. I could have just said I want to come in 1.25 inches, set it up, pop it, then do the other one. I don't even have to measure. It's going to be the exact same. So I'm going to drill those holes. I'm doing 1/4 inch. And what I'm going to do, since this is thin wood, it is oak, I'm going to put a piece of wood underneath so that when I go through, I don't blow out the back of it here. We've talked about that in another video. So it won't splinter out. It'll be a nice clean hole. So let me find a piece of scrap, and then I'll drill those holes, and then we'll have to match the holes that are in our handle and transfer punch over to the knife steel in the handle. Okay, this is the hardware I'm using. It's the Type. For those of you who have seen the Warhammer video, this is what we're using. The hollow shaft with threads in it. You put the screw in there. This goes on the other end. This one is only, this aluminum ones has the rivet type side and a flat head. So you can get those okay. This one that I got, these are steel, Phillips head, and the other side has a Phillips head also. So you can really get down there and tighten it. Now this is thin. You see how the screw sticks out on both sides? What I'm going to do is, since I have my jig set up right here, as long as nothing changes, you don't move this table, move it up and down, nothing like that. Everything stays the same. I drilled my holes with this one, the 1/4 inch drill. Now what I'm going to do is take it out, not move anything, and put an end mill in here. And what that will do, it'll be centered still with the hole. I'm just changing the diameter of the tool I'm putting in there. The center is going to be the same. Put it in my jig, and I'm going to slowly go down, take a little bit of material off, and make a flat in this wood. Here's the difference between a drill and an end mill. See the drill? It's got the angle there, comes to a point. Then those flutes dig into the material, the sides of the material. When you sharpen it, you know, you get these at a certain angle. Now, here we go. End mill, see how it's flat? It's got more flutes on it. It's 4 flute, 1/2 inch end mill. So I'll stick that in there. It's just a little bit bigger diameter than the screws there, but that's fine. I don't have a 7/16 end mill, so I'm going to use this and put little dips on each one of those, top and bottom, so that the fixturing will be down in the wood and not be something that rubs against your hand. And also, by doing that, by bringing them in, I have more thread that will catch inside the tube when I put it inside the steel handle there. So that's what I'm getting ready to do. Alright. Number 4. See the screws above the surface? After. So that's what I did. So you can see the threads sticking down. Here, they just barely come out the bottom. So that's what the end mill did for me. Alright. Alright, so I transferred the holes from the handle material to the blade handle. I deburred it so that I don't have any burrs. And what I'm going to do now is I've made sure everything fit. I took it off. I'm going to take it over to the sander, and I'm going to round out the handle edges here so that it's more comfortable in the hand. Just get them started. And then I'm thinking for the bottom portion where your finger goes, I'm not just going to make it round. I think I'm going to try to somewhat finger grooves a little bit just to give it a good feel. You know, like it's made to fit your hand, and hopefully that'll work out. But I'm going to hit the sander with a real fine belt and just take the upper material off, round it all out so it doesn't hurt your hand like the Ontario used to. And that's the next step. I'll go slow so I don't get any of this burning from too aggressively taking off material on the last go around. Alright, so I have the wood slats on the handle portion of the blade. I fastened it in here, took some 150 grit sandpaper, working it like this to round these edges out. Now when you do it like this, it's going to leave an edge right here, so you have to come back in with your paper, and instead of being like this sanding, you got to come from the side and knock that off, which it ain't no big deal. You'll be able to feel exactly where it is. So then what I've done now is I grabbed the handle and I took a pencil, and in between my knuckles I made a line. And what I'm going to do, I've got 4 sections right here. I'm just going to put a very slight curvature in here with this file, the rasp. It's flat on one side, it's got an arc on the other. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the arc side just a little bit. Just give a little bit in each of these spots. Start a finger groove, just a little, and then I'll use the Dremel with the sanding bit on it. If I need to open it up or anything, smooth it out. And I'll finalize that with sandpaper. I just want to have a little something besides just the wood slats there, you know. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'll start and just easily put just a little something for the fingers to get a good hold of. And that way it won't be so plain Jane. Alright, sorry, I was listening to music and I just got in the zone when I was working on these handles. Right now I got polyurethane on them to seal them up. Let me show you kind of what we got here. You can see the finger grooves there. And it shows up good on camera. It didn't look as good. It wasn't as well defined before I polyurethane. See, I got the finger slots there. And I polyurethane both sides. And then I'll show you what it looks like on the knife itself. It didn't turn out too bad for a simple handle. And then now I've got the knife in my jig so I can sharpen it. Let me show you what we got here. I think you guys have seen this before. It's my homemade knife sharpening jig here. Clamp your blade in here. I actually got this idea because I have a Smith's that works like this. It's real small. It's for pocket knives though. It doesn't do stuff like this. The back here is adjustable for depending on what angle you want. And then you put some tape on the end of your file so you're not wearing this down and changing that. Then you follow it here and you get the same blade angle along the whole thing there. So I just need to get a protractor and see what I'm looking at here and get it the right angle for a chopper. I'll probably put it probably about 23 degrees. No more than 25, probably 23 is what I'm going to put on it. And that'll do what we needed to do. Alright, I just wanted to show you the angle we created using the sharpening jig. Here's what we had before. Here's what they had sharpened. Just a real quick, barely anything there. Very dull. Same on the tip here. Now what I've done is I've put it in the jig and filed away material so that now we have, versus this thin, very wide angle blade they had, we now have taken some material off and taken it from a chopping edge, you know, like this. We've thinned it down so that it would come up, make a good angle. So that's what we're doing. We got that. I didn't do this yet. I'm going to sharpen it a little bit. I'm not going to go to this extreme because that's, I believe, for like prying things open and getting into tight spots. I was envisioning it for, you know, like chopping at roots or something like that. So I'm not going to go to this extreme on the angle, but I will sharpen it. So now I'm getting ready to do this side. Then I'll touch it up with the stone, and it'll be ready for him to use. I'll glue the handles on. But I'm going to get back to sharpening. Alright, so I got both sides now. The same angle on them. It's much more sleek. It's not like it was, you know, like this, just very large. Now it's smooth so it can chop. It's got a pretty good edge after I filed it. I used one of my freestones and I went down, got the rollover out of it, knocked that off. So it's sharp. I mean, I could use it right now just as a machete, no big deal. But I'm going to go over it with the stone. I'm going to go with the rough side a little bit just to get it nice so that when I put it on the smooth side, I know what I'm working with there. So that's what I'm going to do next. Once I get it sharpened up the way I want, then I will prepare this surface and the back side of my handle slats and mix up some epoxy, put them on and mount the handles, and then it'll be ready. I can go take it to my neighbor, give it back to him. And probably the cord that was used to wrap the handle, I'll make a little lanyard thing here, you know, if nothing else, just so he can hang it in the garage or whatever, his shed. So I'm going to hit it on the stone next. Alright. I took the blade over to my sander and I touched up the tip a little bit. I just put it on there like this, kept a steady angle, ground, and I didn't go as much as I did here, just a little bit, keep the tip strong. I used a file and I made this everything blend in together. For me, the edges that are rounded like this, those are the hardest thing to get, you know, perfect. when using a file coming in at the blade, just wear some leather gloves because I've sliced my hands up lots of times. What I've done now, I'm getting ready to mount the handle so that the epoxy binds to the metal a little bit more so than just the paint. I took the Dremel tool with the sand wheel on it, and I took the paint off in between all the handle and a little bit past where the attaching gear is going to go. So it was black like that. Now I put a spot for that epoxy to bind. When I get it the other side done, when I clean it so that the epoxy has something good to sit against, I'm going to use some alcohol and I'll rub it, get any of my finger oils, anything like that off of there, and that way I know it binds real good. I'm probably going to rough up the back surface of the handle slats just a little bit so that the epoxy can get in those grooves and stuff and hold, and then I'll mount the handles on there. So I'm going to clean up this other side. Okay, one thing I'm doing so that when I get the epoxy put on the handle, I'm going to put the handle slats on. I'm getting them ready. The sleeve that has the threads in it, the head of the screw is a little thicker than the head of the screw that attaches from the other side, so I'm putting those on the side where the fingers are not at. And I'm also taking some Loctite. It's the blue, the lipstick style. This is a 248. I'm going to take some of that and I'm going to put it on the inside of the threads, because what I don't want to do is put it on the threads here and then when I go to put it in, smear it on the wood handles or something like that. So I'm taking a little bit and I'm putting it inside. I'm not using the red because the red takes a lot of heat to break it. This is Loctite that will hold your screw in position, but it's adjustable. You know, it'll make that screw nice and tight in there. So I'm not going to put too much. All I have here is a nail that I hammered flat to use it as a smearing tool. There we go. Alright. So now I'm going to mix up some epoxy, place it on the handle, and then attach the slats. Alright, so this is just 2-minute epoxy. You can get it at Lowe's or any other hardware store. 2 agents, they mix. You fold them together till they get a white color to them. And again, a bigger nail that's flattened out. I'm going to take this material, put it in the center of where the handle is going to go. A little bit on each side of the hole. I'm not going to the very edges of here or here because I do not want this epoxy just seeping out. Okay. Plus it'll squeeze out what I'm putting in there. This stuff, it starts getting good and tacky in 2-3 minutes. So you got to work kind of quick with it. You can't mix this up, go get a beer, forget about it for 10-15 minutes, come back, and this doesn't work like that. It'd be very difficult to work with. There we go. I got just the right amount this time. That's good. Little bit will do ya. There we go. All right. Go a little bit here. All right. Now make sure that's the thumb slot, so that goes on the other side. Why does this not want to? What's going on here? I've had this together 2-3 times. What the hell's going on? That's weird. It looks like I can't put both of them from the same side. One's going to have to go from the other side. That's odd because I had not experienced that putting it together before. So obviously I did not get it perfect. Imagine that. Come on. There we go. Alright. I've got both receivers in there. See, I had everything ready to go and it's still screwed up on me. So, I just get this started. See, it's already squeezing out some of the epoxy. And I haven't even really tightened it down yet. I don't think it's going to matter on the damn it, what am I trying to say? The Loctite, because I think I got some of the epoxy in the thread area, and that is going to lock that in there forever. Right, gotta manage to somehow do these two at the same time. I want to secure this, but I do not want to crack these handles. Okay. Alright, I've got my stuff coming out here and out the back. So I'm going to wipe off the excess. Try to get as much of it off of the handle as I can. You want to make sure you have one of those cloths, not too much fibers come off of it too much, otherwise I'd be coating this handle in rag fibers. There we go. Alright. Take a warm washcloth, I think, and get that off. There we go. If you remember what it looked like when we started, that's what we got now. Got the finger grooves and a notch for the thumb so that when you're holding it, it doesn't dig in right there. Recessed bolts and epoxy holding it all together. That's pretty good. Another project that you can do. Just take your time and it'll turn out. It won't work if you don't try. So that's all you got to do. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Maybe learned something. Maybe you didn't, but I hope you did. Thanks for watching.